Good morning. It's me again. I'm here to read a chapter of our book, Wish, by Barbara O'Connor, that we've been reading daily for quite some time now. Just a reminder that after this week, we will be taking a week off. So we'll have a week break and take your vacation, okay? So that means that I'm not going to be working from home that week, and so you guys don't have to do schoolwork that week, okay? So then the week after vacation, I'll have a new choice board for you with some new activities. Some will stay the same week to week, but there will be some new activities. I'll have a new choice board and a new schedule for daily activities that I'd like you to do online, and that will start, we will restart that after next week. So just a reminder that we have a few more days and then we're going to be taking a week off, okay? So here is chapter 17 of Wish. So yesterday, if anybody remembers, Wishbone ran off on Charlie, ran after a chipmunk. So let's hope that she's able to find Wishbone. So chapter 17, I searched those woods till it was almost dark. I called Wishbone's name till my throat hurt. I walked up and down the side of the road till my legs ached. Finally, I went to Howard's to get Lenny's bike that I left in the yard that afternoon. I could hear the Odoms inside eating supper, everybody laughing and saying, "Pass the butter," and stuff. I pictured them there crowded around the kitchen table, the boys poking each other and grabbing for the last biscuit. Miss Odom cooking up more fried chicken and kissing the tops of their heads. Mr. Odom's eyes twinkling as he watched his happy family. I wondered if Howard had told them what I said about his wish, and if he did, what did all those good-hearted Odoms think of me now? When I got home, I went straight back to my room and held the biggest pity party of my life. I laid on Wishbone's pillow on the floor beside the bed, breathing in his doggy smell, and I cried until I fell asleep. I woke up to Bertha whispering my name. The room was dark except for the faint glow of the lamp in the living room floating through the half-open door of my room. I closed my eyes real quick and pretended like I was still asleep. I couldn't stand the thought of telling Bertha about my day, how Wishbone didn't want to be my dog anymore and had run off, how I had said such mean things to Howard. I thought maybe Bertha would leave, but she didn't. She gave me a little shake and whispered my name again. "Come get some supper," she said. "I'm not hungry," I mumbled into the pillow. "Your favorite," she said, "grits with cheese and bacon." I shook my head. I felt like a pouty baby. I even had the urge to suck my thumb. When I acted like this back in Raleigh, Mama would say, "Quit that baby whining before I jerk a knot in you." But Bertha said, sometimes when you've had a bad day, eating grits makes you feel better. She poked me with an elbow. "I know that from experience," she added. I sat up and hugged my knees. I leaned a little closer to Bertha until we were touching arm to arm, knee to knee. She smelled like someone who spent her days in the kitchen, bacon and coffee and cinnamon. But she looked like someone who spent her days outdoors, arms tan and leathery, dirt under the fingernails. "Wishbone is gone," I whispered. She nodded and pushed a strand of wispy hair behind her ear. "Gus is out there looking for him," she said, "and Gus is a man you can count on." A teeny tiny glimmer of feel better worked its way into my heart. I knew she was right about that. Gus did seem like a man you could count on. But what if Wishbone wants to be stray again, I asked. Bertha sat straight up and took my chin in her hand. "Charlie Reese," she said, "you think that dog don't know a good thing when he sees one?" "What good thing?" I said in my pouty baby voice. She held up a finger each time she counted off. 1, he eats bologna for breakfast. 2, he sleeps on a pillow. And 3, he's loved by an angel. Angel? Ha! So here's where I had to go and ruin that image of me as an angel. I said something mean to Howard, I muttered. Silence. Why had I gone and told her that? I wished I could take those words back, gather them up like butterflies in a net, stay an angel in her eyes. And then I got this bad thought. What if Bertha was wrong about dogs loving you no matter what? What if Wishbone knows I'm mean and that's why he ran off? I could feel Bertha's warm skin against mine, hear her soft breathing in the stillness of that little room. Finally, she slapped a hand on my knee and said, "You need some grits." As soon as I woke up the next day, I looked down at the pillow on the floor, and more than anything, I wanted Wishbone to be there. He wasn't. I hurried into the kitchen. Bertha was shelling peas at the table. "Where's Gus?" I asked. "He went to work." I sank in the chair across from her. "I guess he didn't find Wishbone," I said. She looked at me all sad-eyed and shook her head. "No, he didn't. But he said to tell you that we can get out there and look when he gets home. He set up that trap of yours last night, and I put some scraps in it, so we can keep an eye on that. And don't forget, Wishbone has a tag on his collar. I'm sure somebody will call us when they find him. She pushed a box of cereal towards me. Eat some breakfast. But how could I eat with my stomach all balled up like it was? And then there was my other problem, Howard. What was I going to do about Howard? Guilt was gnawing at my insides as I watched Bertha shelling those peas. Every now and then she glanced up at me, and when she did, I had to look away real quick. There she was over there on the other side of the table, thinking I was an angel. And here I was on my side, feeling about as far from an angel as anybody could ever be. Aren't you going to ask me what mean thing I said to Howard? I asked her. She shook her head. No, I'm not. How come? She tossed a handful of peas into the bowl and leaned toward me. Charlie, she said, you can't judge people for the mistakes they made. You judge them for how they fix those mistakes. She reached across the table and patted my hand. Besides, you think I haven't ever said a word or two I wanted to snatch back? She winked. Just ask us if you don't believe me. It was for sure Bertha had said a lot of words in her life, seeing as how she was such a talker. But I was pretty sure none of those words were mean like mine. Mean and Bertha did not go together. Now, why don't you go get dressed and we'll figure out what to do about Wishbone, she said. But before I could even think about how to start this sorry day, someone knocked on the front screen door, and imagine my surprise when I saw who it was. Howard! I stood there barefoot in my pajamas with my hair in a big rat's nest and searched for something to say. But then Bertha jumped right in and said, well, looky who showed up on our doorstep, Charlie. She held the door open. Howard Odom, and needed some cinnamon toast, I bet, she said. Or cereal, or eggs, or grits. You need some grits, Howard? He stepped inside and shook his head. No, ma'am. Then he turned to me and said, want to pick wild strawberries? He held up an empty milk carton with the top cut off. I know where there's tons. I pushed my hair to my eyes. Y'all go and pick strawberries, Bertha said. I'll keep an eye on things here. She nodded in the direction of the trap at the edge of the yard. And then I collapsed into a puddle of sorrow on the couch and told Howard about Wishbone running off. When I finished, all I wanted to do was flop down and cry. But Howard said, what are you sitting here for? Let's go find him. The next thing I knew, he was out the door, grabbing his bike, leaving me to run to my room to get dressed and scramble after him. So there is chapter 17. So Howard came to Charlie's house, and Charlie let Howard know about Wishbone running off. And now Charlie is regretting what she said to Howard about his up-down walk. And she admits that it was really wrong and really mean, and it made her feel really bad. But obviously Howard is a really good friend, and he's not judging her by the fact that she said those mean things. He still wants to be her friend and help her. So Howard is a really good friend for Charlie. So hopefully they can find Wishbone and get him back to being Charlie's pet, because he's obviously very good for Charlie. And so we will just have to wait and see what happens tomorrow when we read chapter 18 already. So we have about just this little bitty much left of this book. So we will be getting through it shortly, but we will wait and see what happens next. So see you tomorrow for the next chapter. I miss you all. Hope you're all having a great day, and see you soon. Bye. Bye.